All in Sports Network. We love sports.
All right, happy Friday. Welcome back to All in Mizzou, where we talk Mizzou every day with Rogue Media. My name is Davis Wilson. Happy Friday. We've got a good episode coming today. I have two guests, which is the first time that's ever happened. I have James Cross coming on to talk basketball, and we have Zach Sweet here with me in studios now, Columbia, Missourian Mizzou football beat writer joining me. We'll do our temperature check with Zach, and then I'll bring James in. But Zach, how are you, man? I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, I'm doing good. I appreciate you having me on. It's the Columbia Missourian beat has some nice lineage, so it's great that you passed it on, and it's been a blast so far. It's off to a pretty good start. So
Yeah, I've been keeping up with you guys. You've been doing really well. Zach put out a story today about Damon Wilson Jr., a really nice story about him. Go read that at thecolumbiamissourian.com. I guess we can start right there, Zach.
yeah.
Just in terms of, the football season, I guess we can start on the defensive side of the ball. What do you like about, you wrote about Damon Wilson, about the defensive line? What is working for that defensive line?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple guys, there's multiple guys who are just wreaking havoc against opposing quarterbacks. You look at the defensive front, Zion Young, Damon Wilson, Josiah Trotter. Those three have been in the backfield damn near every play that they're out there. They're making opposing quarterbacks, they're putting them through the gauntlet. And to be honest, it's been a crazy trade-off, because if you look at Missouri secondary, it hasn't held up to the standard that the defensive line has set. So it comes down to, is the defensive front going to get pressure before the quarterback has time to get it to an open receiver in the secondary? We've seen that story play out, but those front seven, I mean, man, have they been fun to watch.
Yeah, that front seven is really good. There's a good rotation of linebackers going. They have a bunch of tough defensive tackles in the middle. You mentioned the secondary. I talked about this earlier in the week, but do you see any way, how, if there is a way, does Missouri go about remedying the secondary, getting them ready in time for, you got Alabama, who's obviously Ryan Williams. You have the week after that, you have Auburn with Cam Coleman. Like, how do you fix this in time for kind of a really tough SEC slate coming up?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not encouraging, all the breakdowns in the secondary, considering the opponents they've played thus far. Because if you're breaking down against Central Arkansas, Louisiana, I can only imagine what it's going to be like when a guy like Ryan Williams comes here in 2 weeks. But I think a lot of it stems with miscommunication. But this is something that you and I are both familiar with, because it's not just a 1-year thing. This has been developing for a number of years. I mean, under Corey Batoon, I'll just talk about Corey Batoon's tenure the last 2 years. There's been a number of breakdowns in the secondary. It cost him Mizzou a couple times last year against A&M, against South Carolina, against Alabama when they got beat down. But I feel like you really need to shore up that communication. And on top of that, when they're in man coverage, they're just getting beat out there. Toriano Pride hasn't looked great. He's made some questionable decisions, but I think it really does come down to there's a lot of communication issues. And if you shore those communication issues up, I think they have the opportunity to be better down the stretch. But this is a problem that has been occurring for some time now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it was the same kind of thing last year. You saw plenty of breakdowns. It's certainly something you hope they can fix, because now, you have it's a pretty experienced group now back there in the secondary. You've got a lot of experience at safety. You've got two guys at cornerback who played for you last year, and then you bring in a transfer in Stephen Hall, who's played some football before. So it seems like communication is the thing here. I mean, it's not like these guys haven't played a lot of football before, so hopefully they can get that sorted out. What are your thoughts on? We'll go to the other side of the ball. I mean, I think when he transferred here, we had an idea that he was going to be good. He was so good as a true freshman, but I mean, how great really has Ahmad Hardy been?
I mean, I can't say enough positive things about him. It's honestly unbelievable watching the kid play every week. I truly believe he's the best running back in college football. I think
Mhm.
if he keeps this up, he's gonna break some historic Mizzou records. He's
Yeah.
gonna be in the national talk for I don't know if I mean, if he keeps this pace, he'll get into the Heisman talk for sure. I can't sit here and say I think he's gonna win it because Genty was historic last year and
Yeah.
didn't win it. But I think there's a real strong chance he could win the Doak Walker. I mean, you look at his stats, he has 600 rushing yards and 450 of them are after contact,
Mhm.
which is just
Ridiculous.
unbelievable. It's like you can't tackle this guy. And every time you think he's wrapped up, he just keeps on churning out yards. It's really unbelievable. But outside of Hardy too, it's a pretty crazy 1-2 punch because
Yeah.
Hardy wears out these defenses and then Jamal Roberts comes in and Jamal Roberts punishes them. And you've seen the trust that Drinkwitz has in Jamal Roberts. Roberts has been the guy he's gone to down the stretch. Like when Missouri got the ball back against South Carolina, leading by 6 points and needing to waste away some of that clock, they ran the ball to Roberts every play of that drive because
Mhm.
that's the amount of trust that he has in him. And I think Roberts is 6th in the SEC in rushing yards. So Missouri's backfield is dynamic. I really think it's among the best in college football.
Mhm. And then, yeah, I agree. I mean, Hardy and Roberts, the 1-2 punch has been pleasantly surprising for me. I mean, I knew Hardy was good. We watched Jamal Roberts play last year, and he was often used as kind of just a pass blocker, but I mean, he obviously had the big touchdown run against Auburn, so he got involved last year, but this is a new level. He's 6th in the SEC in rushing yards. It's a duo that has been a lot of fun to watch. Um, Now let's talk about the quarterback. What have you thought of Bo Perbula? Because when he came here from Penn State, at least, as far as I knew, this guy was a guy who could run, and we didn't know much about his arm, but his arm has been has been pretty good so far. What do you think about Bo, and how do you think he'll fare in obviously not this week, but after this week it gets tougher. You see some tougher defenses.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident in Boa. I mean, I don't think people can complain so much when your quarterback comes in and coming into the season, nobody even really knew who the guy was going to be because Horn and obviously Sam Horn, tragic what happened to him, but Sam Horn and Bo Perbula, they didn't even name a starting quarterback before week 1. But through 4 weeks, Perbula has looked pretty sharp. He's made 2 questionable decisions in the last 2 weeks. He has an interception in each of them, and neither of the interceptions were good decisions. They were actually pretty bad decisions.
Yeah.
And so going into SEC competition, I'm interested to see if he maintains what he had been doing because I feel like he does a good job of taking what the defense gives him. And when he takes what the defense gives him, we've seen him be successful with the dump downs and just short passes and connecting with Kevin Coleman, who's been really, really good. Coleman has been awesome.
Yeah.
But I just think that Perbula needs to just calm down and continue taking what the defense gives him, whether that be with his arms or with his legs, because he's been a really good rusher. Last week he had 9 carries, 72 yards, I believe. He's shown what he can do as a dual threat quarterback. We knew he had the rushing coming in. If he just continues to make the easy look easy and not overcomplicate things, I think Missouri will be in a good spot with him at quarterback.
Yeah. Okay, so far we're 4 games in now. In terms of what you're seeing now from Missouri, how does it stack up with what you expected to see at the beginning of the year? How have your expectations changed? Do you think, your opinion on the ceiling of this team has changed? What do you think about all that?
Yeah. So I came into the season, I think I predicted Missouri to go 8-4 this year.
Okay.
And I think now that number is probably closer to 9-3, but I'm just gonna remind everyone they've beaten up on Central Arkansas, Louisiana, and then the South Carolina game was impressive, but South Carolina's a team that's been reeling, had to take care of business, had to handle business. They were a 10-point favorite. They did. but I think the ceiling has probably gone up a little bit in terms of I didn't know how dominant the defensive front was going to be. That's been a
Mhm.
pleasant surprise. And I didn't know how dynamic that running back duo was going to be. I think that has also been a surprise to most. Everyone knew it was going to be good, but I couldn't sit here before the season and say Missouri was going to have the best backfield in college football and believe it. And now I can sit here and say that. And I genuinely think that Missouri does have the best backfield in college football. So I think probably I'm still sitting like 9-3, I think now. But
Okay.
yeah, I wouldn't be shocked at all if Missouri reels off a bunch of wins and goes to the playoff. Like that's not out of the realm of possibilities at all.
Mhm. Um, so we've talked a lot about the run game. Um, how do you think the offensive line is doing? Obviously, there was a shakeup right before
Yeah.
the season where Caden Green moves to tackle, and then last week you lose Caden Green for an injury that it looks like it's going to keep him out for a couple of weeks. I guess my first
Yeah.
question here, Javen Richardson steps in last week against an SEC defensive line. How do you think he played in that game? What can we expect from him moving forward? Is he going to be able to hold it down while Caden Green gets healthy?
Yeah, Javen Richardson played really well last week at tackle. He played better than I expected him to play, honestly. But the offensive line as a whole, you lose a guy like Caden Green, and that's going to be significant. The offensive line had been shaky through the first couple weeks, and
Mhm.
then the best offensive lineman, Caden Green, suffers a foot injury in practice, and it's going to hold him out a couple of weeks. So the fact that Javen Richardson did step in, like you said, against an SEC defensive front in South Carolina and hold his own was really impressive. I want to talk about the other side, though, if we're talking offensive line, because there's a guy out here who isn't getting enough recognition. Keegan Trost has been
Yeah.
awesome at right
Yeah.
tackle for Missouri. He has been awesome. He has an 85.4 PFF grade. It's the highest on the offensive line. 80.5 pass grade, 83.4 run grade, meaning he can do both facets of the game. And that stability has been something that I don't think Missouri knew they were going to have coming into the season, but he's lived up to the expectations, and people aren't really talking about him at all. I haven't heard much talk about Keegan Trost. He's been great.
Mhm.
Connor Tullison has been steady at center as well. It's nice to have that experience there. And then at guard, Dominic Jadis hasn't really been talked about much either. And I think that's the job of an offensive lineman. If you're not being
Yeah.
talked about, you're doing your job right. So
Exactly.
I think the offensive line has honestly been solid. What I will say is the running backs, all the rushing yards, people can't point to the offensive line and say the offensive line has been dominant and that's why they're doing it because of all
Right.
the missed tackles and all of the yards after contact.
Mhm.
But I think overall the offensive line is in a good spot right now. And I think Caden Green, it sounds from what we've heard like it's not going to be a serious injury in terms of he should come back at some point. And that'll be significant when they get him back, especially now that you've worked in a guy like Javen Richardson and you have that depth going into SEC play.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think Keegan Trost has been I think Keegan Trost has been awesome.
Yeah.
Really, really, really good. um, I'm interested in this because as media, we check the injury reports when they come out, and it's your job to be on top of these stories as they happen. Last week was weird
Yeah.
because, correct me if I'm wrong, but on Thursday night the injury report says Caden Green is probable, and
Yep.
then a night later he's out, which I don't think you see very much at all. What was that like for you guys on the Missourian beat, trying to figure this out and getting a story out quickly? I mean, that's something, going from probable
Yeah.
to out in 1 day is, that's a big deal.
Well, yeah, it was super surprising, especially you understand the media availability and the access we have. So when I got
Mhm.
to the stadium on Saturday after we had seen him get ruled out late on Friday, I was like, does anyone really like know what's going on? And it seemed like not seemed like I wasn't the only one that was confused. Everyone was kind of like, yeah, that's like weird. And then right before the game, we saw him down on the field with his boot on. But after the game, Drinkwitz specified what happened. So Wednesday, he got dinged up in practice with a foot injury. And then they didn't think much of it. Thursday was a walkthrough, so he participated fully in the walkthrough on Thursday. And then he was still having some discomfort, so he went and got an MRI on Thursday, and they found something that they didn't like in his foot. So they had a minor medical procedure, as Drinkwitz said, on his foot on Thursday night. And that's why they ruled him probable. They had to put him on the injury report, but they didn't really know the severity of it. And then Friday we found out that he had that procedure, and that's when he got ruled out. So yeah, it did sound like it was more of a minor thing though. So I'm expecting, I think Drinkwitz said his timelines. Actually, I don't know if Drinkwitz specified a timeline, but I'd expect him to be back in the next like 6 weeks, which I know it's going to be a significant chunk of time. But if Missouri does what it's expecting to do this year, they should get him back for that stretch run.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. I mean, that's a crazy thing. You gotta be on top of these injury reports, and it's crazy when something takes such a swing like that. But you guys did a good job, obviously. All right, I got to talk about it. I got to ask you about this. You're a little, you're kind of famous these days. I was on Tiger Kickoff Show last year, and we had fun, but we never went quite as viral as you did. So I got to ask you, because it was crazy. The week of the Kansas game, Zach picks Kansas to beat Missouri, and everybody goes wild with it. What was that like for you? Because the reaction to that was something I couldn't have imagined happening. But what was that like on your end?
It was crazy, honestly. I expected to get some backlash, like fully expected to get some backlash, but I didn't expect it to go as viral as it did. I mean, I still, like, every time I walk campus, what is this, 3 weeks removed now? Every time I walk campus, I still get chirped for it.
Really?
It's pretty funny. Yeah. Oh yeah. I walked to shoot the show yesterday. And I think on my way from, it might be like a 3-minute walk maximum. And I had like 3 different people say something to me like, "That was a pretty bad take, huh?" Like all this stuff. Like, I mean, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, was I that far off though? The secondary kind of, I said the secondary is gonna give them some issues this season. Obviously, Daniels missed a couple throws. Henderson had a huge drop in the fourth quarter. Highshaw had a huge drop in the fourth quarter. Kansas had opportunities because the secondary. But I made the take I made. I was wrong about it. There's not much I can do, but it's been crazy to see the backlash. It's been pretty fun, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I could not understand the backlash, because, like, I mean, obviously it's a big rivalry, and it's, a game that hasn't been played in a long time. There's just so much hatred on both sides. But I mean, to be fair, you weren't that far off. Missouri, it was a close game for a while. Missouri ended up winning by double digits. But I mean, you just made your prediction, and that's that. And I can't believe it went that crazy.
It's crazy.
Like, even you may have provided the team itself with some bulletin board material. You had.
Oh, I definitely did. I think, I definitely think I did. I mean, I think I did because right after the game, Drinkwitz called me out in the press conference, and then Dalen Carnell said something too. But I mean, when I had Kirby Moore say something to me in the press box, I was like, oh wow, I really was bulletin board material.
Really? Tell us about that. What happened there?
Yeah. I was in the press conference not in the press conference. I was in the press box, and you know how it's always a scramble out of there to the press conference after the game ends. And I mean, I got on my way, and Kirby Moore happened to be behind me, so I glanced over my shoulder. And Kirby Moore's like, "That was a pretty bad take, huh?" And I was like, "Hindsight's 2020, ain't it?" But I knew I was in for one when Kirby Moore, who's not a huge media guy, said something to me about it. I was like, all right, I'm going to hear it.
Have you, I mean, it seems like you've been a really good sport about it, but does it bother you at all, ever, getting chirped?
No, no, not at all. Yeah, it's all funny games. I don't mind it at all. Someone's got to be public enemy number one, right? I mean, I literally was just doing my job. I made a prediction, and I didn't expect it to go crazy, but it did. I've had some fun with it too. Like, when people see me around this week, people are like, "So you're picking UMass?" And I'm like, Yup, it's all about the Minutemen. Like, no, obviously not. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun.
That's yeah. I'm glad you've been a great sport about it. It's really been funny
Thank
to
you.
follow along
Thank
on
you.
social media. But
Yeah.
are you enjoying doing the Tiger Kickoff show with my guy Jacob Siciliano? How's that going?
Yeah, Jacob's the man. That show has been great, and this year we have like a social media manager,
Mhm.
someone who's like in charge of that, and then working with John Anderson is pretty great too. So the show's doing really well. It's been a lot of fun. Um, I did you guys film twice a week last year too, or it
Yeah,
was
we
that
did
where
twice
you
a week.
got yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Definitely a time commitment, but it's worth it because the clips are great and it's fun to just talk Missouri football and have a place to do it, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Go check out Tiger Kickoff wherever you know it's on YouTube, I guess. Right? Go
Yeah,
check
it's
it
on
out.
YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. It's on all
Yeah.
the socials really. But yeah, it's
Yeah, go
great.
check it out. They've done a really good job. Last year it
Thank
wasn't
you.
as we didn't it wasn't as volatile. It wasn't as you know, it looks really professional these days and you know, you guys are doing a good job with that. But all right,
So I've
last
been
couple
told.
things before I let you go.
Yeah, go for it.
Are you picking UMass this week? What's your prediction for this week? What should we expect out of Missouri this week?
Yeah, UMass has been banged up to say the least. They're off to an 0-3 start, and
Mhm.
their injuries are mounting. In the secondary alone, I'm pretty sure two of their starters are hurt, and then two other defensive starters are out. They're on their third quarterback, AJ Harrison, who's a freshman. He's played in 4 games, but he's got an arm, but it's just going to be tough. That offensive line is not going to hold up against Missouri's defensive front. I'm expecting Mizzou to put up a lot of points. I said yesterday on the Tiger Kickoff show, I think my score prediction is 66-10 Missouri, which is a ton of points. But
Yeah.
the way we've seen Missouri's offense move, I'd expect to see. I think this is a game where we're going to find out a lot more about Missouri's depth more than anything, because by halftime, I'm expecting it to be
Mhm.
Zollers at the helm, Marquise Davis again, and just see what they have in the freshmen. Maybe Donovan Ologbede has a couple impact plays in the second half. I know they've been trying to get him involved early, but this is another game where you could see him have a serious impact. So I got Missouri rolling 66-10 this weekend.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, I'm hoping that obviously you get some to see some of the young guys play. Marquise Davis had a 100-yard game already. It'd be great to get him going. I'd love to,
Yeah.
you know, just for narrative's sake, I would love to get Hardy his 100 yards and get him out of there. I don't know
Yeah,
how. I mean, he could do that in one drive, I guess, if he really wanted. But
probably.
yeah, we'll see about that. All right. So looking forward, you got. I probably won't talk to you by then, but a lot can happen here. Alabama plays Georgia this weekend. What are you expecting about Alabama's visit to Columbia? How big of a game is this? Um,
Yeah.
what do you think?
I think it's that. I mean, that game's gonna be huge. Missouri has the opportunity to start 6-0 and really make a statement, especially because I know Bama lost their opener at Florida State, but they've rebounded pretty well. Ty Simpson seems to have found some of his seems to have gotten some of his confidence back. That offense is explosive, and Alabama's Alabama. Like they have that namesake still. If Missouri knocks them off, I'd expect them to jump up significantly in the rankings, probably closer to like that 12-13 area. I think it's a real possibility. I think when Alabama comes here, there's a real chance Missouri's favored in the game. The fact that it's at home, I'm expecting that to be a competitive game, but that's definitely the one. That's definitely the one Mizzou's going to get up for. So I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see how that one shakes out. But I wouldn't be shocked if Missouri's 6-0 going to Auburn.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I also think that after what happened last year at Alabama, which is a game that
Oh yeah,
I went to, they got
yeah,
shut out. I bet they're going to be ready to play that one.
yeah. I
Um,
feel like Drake will get him up for that for sure.
yeah, maybe you need to give them some more bulletin board material. Do something crazy.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, last thing. We talk about seeing some depth here in the UMass game. There's not a ton to talk about here with UMass because they're just not very good. But who's a young guy from Missouri, or a guy who maybe doesn't play as much typically, that you would like to see get some good action, or that maybe you expect to have a good game if, the blowout happens and you get to get some of the second string, third string guys in?
Yeah, I think we talked about him briefly, but Marquise Davis is a guy I want to see what he does in a second opportunity, because obviously we saw what he was capable of against Louisiana, going for over 100 rushing yards in the second half of that game. I want to see if is that sustainable, because all we heard all camp about Marquise Davis is how powerful a runner he is, how good he is for being a freshman. And then he backed it up when he got his opportunity against Louisiana. So I'm excited to see if that was a one-off, or if he's able to produce again, because I really believe that if Marquise Davis has another game like that, it's going to be tough for Drinkwitz to keep him off the field. I know that Hardy and Roberts is a crazy 1-2 punch, but I wouldn't be shocked to see Davis get involved as like a third running back in some schemes. The only thing I'd say with that, though, is Drinkwitz might be wanting to redshirt Davis this year, but with how good he's played, I think he might have a hard time, especially if he has a good game on Saturday. I think that's something to consider. So that'll be a guy I'm looking out for, Marquise Davis.
There you go, Marquise Davis, freshman running back. Zach, thanks so much for coming in. I see you got your Titleist hat on. Are you watching the Ryder Cup today?
I am. I've got the Ryder Cup on my TV over there. I am very, very much into it.
It's a rough start this morning. You know.
Yeah, I'm looking at the scoreboard right now. It looks like it's each Europe and USA each are winning 2 matchups right now. So, But yeah, rough start this morning. They'll need to bounce back.
We'll bounce back. Yeah, they left their guy Spieth off, and I know he didn't have a good season, but I miss him.
Yeah, I miss him too. That's my guy. And they did. That's my guy. But yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, if I were Keegan, I wouldn't play him either. He was not good this year. But yeah, no, I'll definitely be tuned into that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go watch it too. Zach, thanks so much for coming on. I appreciate it a lot. I hope you guys have fun this weekend covering the game, and keep up the great work. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you, Davis. Just let me know if you need me to come back at any point. I got you.
Yeah, I'd love to have you back on later in the year. I'm going to keep rotating between you beat writers. I've got all three.
Yeah, I saw Chase did it last week. Yep.
Yeah. I'll keep rotating you guys in.
Perfect.
Thanks a lot, Zach. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Have a good one, Davis.
You too. All right, that was Zach Sweet, Columbia Missourian, Mizzou football beat writer. Good to talk to him. I haven't seen him in a while. He picks Missouri to win. Breaking news. He is not picking against the Tigers this time. If you see him on campus, take it easy on the kid. He's a good sport about it, but man, his comments you still see it in the comments. People give him a hard time. But that was Zach. Next up, I'm going to bring on another former Mizzou student. Zach's a student. This guy's an alumni. He's been on before. He's my basketball guy. James Baxley-Cross is coming on to talk about Missouri got 4-star recruit Aiden Chronister out of Arkansas to join the basketball recruiting class, a class that now ranks #1 in the country. I'll be right back, and when I come back, I'll have James with me. All right, welcome back. We're back here, all in Mizzou every day with Rogue Media. Thanks again to Zach Sweet for coming on and talking to me this morning. Actually, it's afternoon. I messed that up. Now we're going to get into, Mizzou got a football commit yesterday that I'm going to talk about for a second. And then we got our basketball guy, James Baxley-Cross, back in here to talk about the commitment of Aiden Chronister. First off, DeMarcus Johnson, the #2 rated junior college player in the country. #1 rated if you look at the composite ratings, but we'll go with #2. He's the second best junior college player in the country. He is from Texas, from Missouri City, Texas, went to Fort Bend, Marshall, and then played junior college ball at Hutchinson Community College in Kansas. This guy is 6'8", a big man, 260 pounds. He's a defensive lineman. And, this is a big get. Missouri's 2026 class is lacking at the moment and so this is probably the biggest get they have in there. And when you look at what Missouri's trenches are going to look like next year on both sides of the ball, they're going to have to do some work. And this is a good start, I think. Johnson, like I said, played at a community college in Kansas. His stats last year, he finished the season as a freshman with 29 tackles, 4 sacks, 8.5 tackles for loss, and a forced fumble. And as I was looking at some of these stats, there was a game that stood out to me as one of the craziest. It's one of the craziest things I've seen. So Hutchinson Community College, DeMarcus Johnson's school, played against Ellsworth Community College, which is an Iowa school. Last year, these two teams played, and Johnson played very well. He finished with 6 tackles, 1 sack, 4 tackles for loss. And then I looked at the score, and Hutchinson beat Ellsworth Community College in this game 99-0, which I guess could be a typo, but that is what Hutchinson's website says, 99-0. So DeMarcus Johnson apparently is a big-time winner. He chose Missouri over LSU, USC, Mississippi State, Houston, West Virginia. He actually committed to Houston out of high school and chose to go the junior college route. But out of high school, when he was being recruited by Houston, Brian Early was the main guy recruiting him. Brian Early was the defensive line coach at Houston. Now, of course, the defensive line coach at Missouri. So there's a connection there. And this is a big get for the Tigers, big get out of the junior college ranks. It's always kind of interesting to see how these guys pan out. This guy is massive, so I have a good feeling about him. The only guys who are 6'8" on Missouri's roster currently are offensive lineman Jack Lange from Eureka, Missouri. He is 6'8", 305 pounds. And then you have Dakota Terrell, 6'8" tight end from Pocatello, Oklahoma. Both those guys are freshmen. So he joins those two as the tallest men on Missouri's roster. That is all I have on DeMarcus Johnson, a big-time get there. Now we're going to talk basketball. Aiden Chronister commits to Missouri Sunday, a day after he visited for the South Carolina game. Of course, I had to bring my basketball guy back in. James Cross is officially now in the studio. James, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Davis? It's good to see you, brother.
Oh, man, I'm good. It's good to see you, too. James and I covered a Lake Highlands High School football game together last year. And, last week. Last night. Good God. And Lake Highlands beat J.J. Pierce. We were both up in the press box. But today we're not talking Lake Highlands football, unfortunately. We're talking Missouri basketball. James, Aiden Chronister, number 71 player in the country, commits to Missouri after I think he visited maybe this weekend. He's from Arkansas, but he joins Missouri. Tell us about this guy.
Yeah, Aiden Chronister, cool guy, cool fit for this 26 class. We talked about it briefly when we talked Tony Bryant about a week and a half ago. Mm-hmm. And, he's kind of, as he seems, good positional size, 6'7", 6'8", depending on where you're getting your information, but a standstill shooter, really. And a really good one at that, almost flawless form. You don't want to give a high school prospect too many perfect ratings, but the form is really pretty. Mm-hmm. He's shown some playmaking ability just off. He has a good head fake. He can get defenders in the air. get to the rim and he'll find the open guy once the defense rotates. A lot of those are dump offs to a big man, which, I mean, hey, those are plays that have to be made. And when you see him coming out of a play style like that, it's helpful to know that he can impact the rotation in a multitude of ways rather than just being strictly a shooter. I think that can put him more in maybe the Caleb Grill role. A couple years down the line, I think he needs to get better with movement shooting. I think that's something he kind of struggled with. He played the Puma U16 circuit this past summer, and most of his touches were spot up, standstill threes. Shot close to 40%, I believe. But he was pretty good. Yeah, got the stats up now for AAO flight in 13 games in the Puma circuit. He averaged 11.6 points, 4.5 rebounds, 2 assists, 37% from 3. So there's some stuff here. I think he can fit really well next to guys like Tony Bryant, Jason Crow, when that time comes. But we'll see. Hopefully his value appreciates. And I think that's kind of a bet that Missouri's making with the ability for teams to get veteran shooters in the transfer portal. They think that he can really get better over these next couple of years.
Yeah. So Cronister ends up choosing Missouri. At least I read this. It was between kind of Wake Forest and Missouri at the end, but he had interest from Oklahoma State, Arkansas State, St. Louis. He does have a really nice shooting form, as I watched this morning some of his tape, and it kind of reminded me. I mean, it's like a really old school, like your old school kind of form. It looks really nice. So obviously he can shoot, and it looked like he could pass pretty well, like you said. Is there anything that you see when you watch him that you think he could develop with a couple of years with Missouri coaches that he doesn't necessarily have in his game right now?
Yeah, I think one big thing will just be developing into the college body. Weight work is going to be important for him. I think what some analysts, I think Adam Finkelstein of 247 on his projection noted that he has some work to do finishing through contact. And I think that's something that will get better with weight training. Obviously, it's just a completely different game, high school to college, with how they utilize the weight room. But with his size and IQ, I think just a little bit of strength will help him a lot in that department. I don't think he's ever going to be a downhill attacking threat, but he can at least become serviceable attacking closeouts and finishing through contacts. After he puts on a little bit of weight and practices against some bigger, stronger guys.
With his size, you mentioned he's obviously 6'7" or 6'8", whatever you think. How do you think he can use his height to his advantage as a shooter? Or is he able to rebound the ball a little bit? Does he defend at all? How does his size come into play?
Yeah, so I think his size is really important because he doesn't create that much space for his jumper, but he doesn't need that much space.
Right.
He can really shoot in people's faces and just shoot up and over them. He has a pretty high release point, and that paired with his height is going to make it easier for him to get off really tough looks. So that definitely impacts his shooting in a good way, that he doesn't need nearly as much space to get a good shot off. And defensively, I think he has some ability there. I think his height and his IQ play a big role there. Like I said, he's not a crazy jump off the screen type of athlete, but he's somebody that you're not going to have to hide necessarily. Smart, fine lateral mover. You'll probably see him guarding maybe some small fours, depending on the matchup. but I think he'll be able to fairly consistently guard the 3 and 4 without being a negative, which is a big thing, especially with shooters. It feels like sometimes when you get these kind of guys, you're taking the offense and leaving a lot of defense on the table. But Chronister is more than capable on that end, and I think he'll get better as his career progresses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you mentioned his kind of high release point, how he shoots over people. And I was watching him, and his base, the shooting form base looks really kind of it looks good. It looks like someone I've seen before. I was trying to figure out, and then there was one of his highlights was a back to the basket, turn around, one leg fadeaway, and it looked a little Dirk Nowitzki-ish to me, which is all I need to see to be all in. But what do you think? What do you think his ceiling can be if all these things you're talking about, if he gets bigger weight wise, if he can develop some of these skill sets, shooting on the move, all these other things you're talking about, what do you think his ceiling could be?
Yeah, and I don't want to put a cap on what I think he can be.
Sure, yeah, no.
But my guess with he's I think 247 has him around the 73-ish range. I think some other sites have him a little bit lower in the rankings, closer to 80, 90. I think he can be at his best probably a multi-year starter. I think especially by his junior, senior years, he can start for good teams that are making serious postseason pushes. And I foresee if he wants to pursue professional basketball, I'm sure that he can pave the lane overseas. I don't really see the NBA, but also a lot can happen. He has the size, he has the touch, so if things break the right way, he could be a pro in the U.S. But I think what I'm really hoping for is just a multi-year quality starter for a good team.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Last sort of thing I have for you before I let you go. Missouri obviously gets him in the fold. They now have the #1 class in the country, which is something that I don't believe they've ever done before. If you look at the guys they're bringing in with Chronister, Jason Crow Jr., Tony Bryant, guys we talked about a week and a half ago. But, I don't know if Chronister, I don't know if all these guys are going to play together, right away in 2026. Now, obviously, you have Jason Crow Jr. probably being a one and done type kid, but how do they all fit together? Like if there's a scenario where all three of these guys are playing together, what do they each kind of bring to Missouri's team, in your opinion?
Yeah, I would expect Tony Bryant and Jason Crow to probably be starters or at least high impact rotation players. I think Chronister might have to wait a little bit longer. I think he'll play as a true freshman, but I don't know if he'll get a ton of run. Of course, we'll have to see how his senior year goes and early development as a freshman with Missouri. But if they're all sharing the court together, he does a lot for Tony Bryant and Jason Crow, just spacing the floor. Bryant is, we talked about it. He loves to get downhill, aggressive play finisher, and spacing the floor out. Taking one more defender away from the basket is going to make it that much easier on guys like Tony Bryant. And, Jason Crow is another guy who demands a lot of attention with his self-creation and scoring ability. And the fact that, if he's sharing the floor with Aiden Chronister, Chronister's defender is not going to be able to leave him alone because, he'll make him pay. So it's really just going to make the game easier on Crow and Bryant and the rest of the guys on that roster. I'm hoping they get a good amount of run together, but I'm thinking that Chronister will really pop into the rotation in a more meaningful way his sophomore year, but we'll see.
Well, yeah, I think regardless, these three guys in the fold, very exciting for Missouri fans, Missouri basketball fans. Dennis Gates doing an excellent job in the recruiting class this year. James, I appreciate you coming on. I'm going to let you get back to your day. I know you have a concert to attend tonight. Are you excited for that?
Oh yeah, very excited. Freddie Gibbs, for anybody
Nice.
who's interested, gonna go with a few friends, so it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah,
And,
well, I'll let you get ready for that. I appreciate you coming on.
yeah, anytime.
Yeah, anytime we're gonna get any basketball news, I think I'll just have you on, and then when basketball season starts, I'm sure we'll talk plenty. But I appreciate it. Have fun at your show. That should be a lot of fun.
Sweet.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And if I can get a couple more thoughts off really quickly.
Oh yeah, no,
Hate
I
to
didn't
go
mean
over
to
on
shoo you away. Yeah, go for it.
But first of all, love the whiteboard edition.
Oh, all right.
My small mind can't really comprehend what you're talking about sometimes, so that really helped me.
Let's go. I love that. Thank you.
We were talking about recruiting rankings. I want to shout out Vandy, number 3 class in the nation right now. They snagged a commitment from Anthony Brown Jr. Wednesday, and they have a pair of other 4-stars on that team. I don't really know much about them, frankly, but as has been mentioned, we love Vanderbilt here at All In Mizzou.
Yeah.
Friend of the pod, Will Ferris. We need to get him on for that Vandy game.
I'm gonna get him on. I'm gonna get him on.
Then I guess one more basketball point is one of the last 26 recruits that Missouri is targeting right now is Tristan Reed. He's a pretty traditional big man. He's around 6'9", 6'10", about 210 pounds at the moment. I'm not going to go too far into it because I'm not sure how likely a commitment is, especially with the work Missouri's already done. But traditional big man, bruiser. A lot of people are saying he has a college-ready body. Younger brother of Terrace Reed of Gonzaga. Interesting. And one other thing I saw that I thought was cool, Zag's blog again showed me this. They did a quick feature on him. His favorite NBA player is Victor Wembanyama.
Wow.
So, makes me feel really old.
Yeah, my goodness. Does that mean he could be the next Victor Wembanyama for Missouri? Is that what you're saying?
Look, I'm not going to rule it out.
Is that the guy he plays in Missouri, right? From
Branson? Link Academy in Branson.
Yeah.
So
okay. Well, we'll keep an eye on him.
Hopefully that can work out. And if Missouri lands him, they might really be in the running for the top recruiting class in the country by the end of the cycle.
Yeah. It says he visited on the 25th of August.
Yes.
All right. That's good to know.
Something to keep in mind.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right. Do you already talk to Zach?
Well, for the show purposes, yes, but actually I'm about to. In the order of the show, he's going to go first, but I haven't talked to Zach yet.
Yeah, you got to see if he's going to take UMass for the sake of journalistic integrity.
I'm going to ask him. I'm going to ask him about how he feels about this game. If he takes UMass, he might get forcibly removed from campus.
I think he
will.
At
this point, honestly, maybe he should make this his thing and just pick UMass.
Yeah. Hey, one of these days he might get one right, and people are going to call him a genius. So,
yeah, I'll let him know. Right. It's a good idea.
Yeah. Shout out Zach Sweet.
Yeah. Shout out Zach Sweet. Thanks to him for coming on. I appreciate it. Yeah. James, thank you very much. Anything else? I didn't mean to cut you off so early.
Oh no, you're all good. That's all from me. I'm excited to talk again, though.
Yeah, let's do it soon. I'll let you know. And if Tristan Reed joins the party, we'll be sure to talk about it. Or if anything else happens, I'll be sure to have you on. But Absolutely. Did you get your Lake Highland story done?
I did. Nice. Got that done around 11:40ish last night. So
all right, yeah, hardworking. Go read James's story for the Lake Highlands Advocate on Lake Highlands football.
Great.
I'm sure it was great. All right, James, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
All right, and that's a wrap for this Friday show. Appreciate both James and Zach for coming on. I'm done until Monday. Missouri plays UMass tomorrow, Saturday night. It's like let me see what time this game is. It's 6:30 on ESPNU. I'm actually shocked they didn't stuff this into the ESPN Plus slot, but They get it on ESPNU, Missouri, UMass. This should not be a competitive game, but hopefully we get to see some young guys out there do something. I want them to let Hardy get 100 yards. That's my wish list. But thanks for joining me. I'll be back Monday. Come back and see me. Thank you to Rogue Media. This is All in Mizzou. Mizzou every day. Happy Friday.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.